Hi guys. So I have pretty much completed everything to do with the cowl at this point, and everything that relates to getting it mounted, getting the servos installed, having the cowl flaps working, everything has worked up to this point as a subsystem, and I am now going through the process of putting the cowl flaps on now that I've got the dummy engine mounted and I've finished the new cowl mounting system, and I'll show you all of that stuff as time goes on, but I thought, you know, I'd show you how this whole mess kind of comes together. So here's a cowl flap. This is cowl flap number 3. 1, 2, 3. You can see how the little flapper dealio here captures the flapper dealio on the smaller flaps. So all the larger flaps have these little guys. All the smaller flaps have wings. So what I do here is get it started like that. Find my pliers. There's a little wire here that's, I want to say it's 20 thousandths. Get it started in that piano hinge there. Get things lined up. No, I said get things lined up. Come on. Now that's with only 3 hinges on. By the time I'm doing the 14th and the 15th one, it gets really, really difficult to move this wire because I'm pulling it through, I don't know, 80 or 90 little piano hinge segments. So, segment 4. Get it going like that. Okay. All right, I will keep threading wire, and I'll come back and get you soon. All right, so I got got all the flaps on, and they're moving nice and free, a little too free. Sometimes I overextend them, and one of the little flappy doodads comes out of its ear, and then it's a little bit of a goat fuck to put it back together. There we go. So gotta try not to overextend them. Keep all the ears and the wings where they're supposed to be. So next up, I'm going to start stringing. This is the cable that actually actuates everything. You can see there's still a little leftover piano wire here. That's because I haven't figured out exactly how I want to terminate the piano wire once it has been fed through everything. So there's, I guess, still a little bit of work left to be done. Not much, but a little bit. Alright, so we feed it through here. And we feed it through there. And we just put it through each one of these little tubes. There's one guide tube on each of the small flaps and 2 guide tubes on each of the large flaps. Alright, so we're coming around, just about to get the last one here. There we go. Feed that through there. And then it goes into this area here is non-moving. These little mountains have a guide tube through them as well, and these maintain the structure and the shape of the well, the desired path of the cables. Even when, you know, they're under pressure being pushed by the servos, and we'll get to the servos here in a minute. Come on. You know you want to. There you go. That's a good girl. Alright, so the cable's been threaded. Okay, so I've got one of the servos installed here. The idea being that this servo arm will go on something like that, move back and forth, and so I'll get the other servo prepared here. This particular one will have an easy connector on it that allows this end of the cable to remain unsoldered, uncleviced, so that it can thread through all those flap tubey doo-doos. So I will thread it through this thing like so. There it goes, it sits right there. And I'm just using a couple of number 2 screws here. These are mini servos. These are high-techs. HS 65 MG. These blocks here are 1/4-inch birch aircraft plywood, and they've got 12-ounce 12-ounce fiberglass cloth laminated on the back side and the front side. And the back side's also got carbon cloth laminated, locking it into the surface of the cowl. So these blocks right here, they're hard as rocks. Alright, so I need to get the servos hooked up to a controller and get things centered. Be right back. Okay, so I have everything hooked up. High-tech servos, these are HS 65s, and these things are rated for 30 ounce inches of torque at 6 volts. And I'm putting 6 volts into them right now. And I know from previous testing that that 30 ounce inch rating is bullshit, because well, you can see this one seems to be moving okay, but look at this one. He thinks about it, give it a little bit of help. Come on, a little bit of help. There he goes. Yeah, and So I ran these things on the bench, and I put a 16-ounce weight. I hung a 16-ounce weight with these things so that the it would have to lift that 16-ounce weight up and down. And because 16 ounces is a heck of a lot less than 30 ounces on a 1-inch arm, that's only 16 ounce inches. And these things can barely do it. In fact, this one failed the test. This one did okay. And then I have a third one that also failed the test. So either high-tech, all I can say at the moment is these servos are not up to the task, and they don't meet their rating and are crap. So next time, so I'm gonna have to change those servos out with something else later. Okay, so we're just gonna take one final look at the high-tech servo installation here. And because that is going away, take a good look. Okay, now what you're looking at are a couple of JR servos. I can't tell you how many times over the course of my career I've had high-tech stuff fail me. JR stuff has never failed me. So even though it's a great deal more expensive, there's a reason why it's more expensive. So you can hear them humming. That's because these are digital servos, and everything works the way it's supposed to. So let's zoom out, take a look at what we got going on here. I had to open up the slots here a bit because these servos are just a little bit bigger than the high-tech HS 65s. These are JR DS 388s. These are actually 388 HVs, which are the high voltage ones, which is not really necessary since I'll be using A123 batteries. At the time I got them, I thought I'd be using 2S LiPos, but that was years ago. So here we go. See what it looks like from a little further away. We can take a look at the whole picture. Okay, back in a minute. Okay, so I know we've all seen this before. This is the front end, and the next part of the cowl assembly process is to put on these baffles right here. So these cooling baffles gather all of the cooling air that's available coming through the dummy motor on the front of the cowl. And so I've got the right one installed already, and I'm about to install the left one. So these just slide in place like that, and right about there, and this little sheet metal, this is stainless steel. This bracket lines up with a, there's a hole here and a blind nut on the back side. You can see this one better. That's the one for the right side. We'll get this tightened up. Okay. Normally the next part in this process would be to go ahead and install the exhaust system, but I don't have it yet. It's coming. It's in works. So mostly what I'm doing here tonight is I'm trying to get a fit check of the cowl over all of this stuff and make sure that everything operates the way it's supposed to. So I mean, when we look in here, these servo mounts and cowl mounts have to slide down along next to this box. This is going to be the battery box and other accessories. It has to slide down here, has to get past these sheet metal brackets, and the servo has to fit into this little space right here. So I'll get ready for that and come back to you. Okay, we're now looking at the where the back of the cowl will go, and you can see the right baffle here, left baffle here. They're still a little bit shaky right now because I don't have the exhaust system on, which actually puts 2 more bolts through each of these baffles and locks them in. But here we go. I'm going to try and do a fit check here. Let's see if we can get a little more light on the situation. And alright. So get the cowl flaps. Need to get past the baffles. And then the servo mounts need to slide along the battery box here. The baffles just barely fit inside the ID of the cowl, and then the servos just barely fit past those sheet metal brackets for the baffles. And once we get close right here, make sure these wires are out of the way. Of course, this won't be the case when the plane's all ready to fly. We'll get all this stuff routed properly, but none of that matters for this. There are 3 guide pins in the cowl that line up with they line up with these cowl mounts somehow. There's one. Not entirely sure what's holding us up here. Oh, there we go. Alright. The bottom one is in. The top ones have started. I don't see anything in the way. It is a little bit tight, and usually I'll just give it a little bit of pressure here. There we go. Okay, that looks good. Now, one of the things I'll do to make sure that everything's lined up well is up here in the nose, the dummy engine should be absolutely centered on the real engine's output shaft, and it is. Okay, so the next step, take one of these. It's a 1032 bolt, and it slips in right there. There's one there. Oh, can't see what I'm doing. Can never have too many flashlights. Goes right there. Okay, make sure that's tight. And that's tight. Alright, and at this point, I mean this whole cowl is just rock solid. Alright. Finally, pull this out a little bit, and I need a servo controller. Like that. And alright, here we go. This is going to be the check. Make sure that everything moves and is happy. Uh-oh. Only got one moving. Why? Why aren't you moving? Okay. If the flaps over here on this side are moving, it means that that servo is working. These aren't moving, which means this servo is not working. Why? I have no idea. It appears to not be connected. Awesome. Now we can tell. Now neither one of them's connected. Okay. Okay. So I took the cowl off, and in order to get a hold of these servo ends, and got them reconnected, and we'll try this again. Okay, good. Far out. Okay. Tee-hee. Very cool. Okay, so I've moved things around a little bit so that we can hopefully get a look at these from the front. So here the cowl flaps are extended. All right, that's looking pretty good. And if we zoom way in, we can see that. Might be able to see the fins, the engine fins, right in here. And this, and there's a couple other holes here. There's a hole up around here. That's about the only opening in the cowl for air to come into the engine. You can see the same thing. There's a hole right about here, and that's it. That's why I have those baffles, in order to gather what little bit of air I'm allowing into the front. Okay, and here finally I've got the fuselage sitting on, well actually it's sitting on the engine's output shaft and the cowl. And so that we can take a look with proper lighting and be able to see the way some of this stuff works. So you can see the cowl mount screw here. It's a 1032 going through this block, which is 1/4 inch aircraft ply, and 1/8 inch carbon plate, and it's backed up with hardwood triangle stock, and everything is wrapped in 12-ounce cloth, and there's also a layer of 9-ounce carbon 90/90 cloth on the backside. This is one of the cowl flap servos. This is the push-rod cable that actually goes to the other servo. This servo right here goes off and starts working on the flaps on the other side. So when I actuate them, there they go. They're all closed up. Can't see much now. I still have to work on, there's a little bit of binding somewhere. Could be in the cable, could be in some of the flap hinges, you know, I don't know. So there's a little bit of fiddling left to do, but mechanically everything works just fine. This cowl could fly tomorrow. If the rest of the airplane was anywhere close, but it's not. So that's it. That's how we do the whole cowl mounting thing. Cowl flaps install, blah blah, yada yada. Zeroli Corsair. Later.